Alright you guys, well today I have for you this 2021 Subaru Forester Touring. It is a pretty nice SUV. I've been driving it around for a while. It's actually one of the top vehicles in terms of customer loyalty. Car on the back here. Pretty nice styling. As you can see, it has that touring badge on it. I like the look of these taillights. I think those have a good style. But for now, we'll pop the hood, take a look at the engine. Kind of an interesting hood design. The top of this grille lifts up. All right, and this is it, the 2.5 liter Boxer 4-cylinder. It makes 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque paired to a CVT. And as you can see, it looks pretty open in here. It looks pretty easy to access everything, but we'll close up the hood here. All right, we'll have a look at the cargo capacity. Does have a power tailgate. Pretty quick opening. And yeah, it's a good cargo area, you know, really open, really spacious. This back end is pretty straight up, so it's not like it's gonna intrude if you have a big item in here. And you can also fold these seats down with these little tabs. It's really easy. These almost feel like a window switch or something. And they just fold down flat. You do get nice storage underneath the floor as well as a spare tire. So it's very practical, very versatile. Very useful car overall. We'll close up the trunk here. And yeah, this tailgate closes really quick. I actually really like that. But we'll check out the back seats. Just gonna fold them up here. And very spacious, very roomy. Actually, it is quite impressive. A lot of little compact crossovers I get in do not have this level of room. I feel like I can stretch out. I don't feel claustrophobic or anything. It's really nice. And you do get heated rear seats in this touring trim, 2-level. And you also get 2 USBs. And I like the design of these window switches. It's actually kind of like a unique look. You do get nice cup holders. They have a nice like glossy finish. The material quality in this Forester is really impressive. I really like this leather stitching, and these brown leather seats look so good. They're really comfortable. It feels like really high quality leather. They have like nice perforations and stitching. Really classy for a Subaru Forester. More than you would expect. You also get this giant sunroof, which I like. And pretty much this entire roof opens. It's pretty nice. A lot of cars with those panoramic roofs only open like a little bit. And you feel kind of gypped. Like, you know, I paid for this giant glass roof and it only opens a tiny bit. But this actually goes like all the way back to here. I'll show you when I get up front. But yeah, let's hop into the front and go over some of the features here. So start it up. It is kind of a loud startup, I notice. A little bit loud, a little cranky sounding when it starts up, but not a big deal. But yeah, this just to show you the sunroof, just to show you how far back it goes. I mean, that's pretty nice. That's probably one of the biggest opening sunroofs I've ever seen. But we'll close that there. And like I said, very classy interior. I like the brown accents, the brown leather stitching. Everything feels like really solid, really put together. Down here, you got your power trunk release. This is an interesting button, this SRH, that stands for steering responsive headlights. So when you turn the wheel, the headlights will swivel, but you can turn that off with this button. You do have your power tailgate memory setting. So when you open it, you can hit this button and it'll set it to open only at a certain height. Do you have your gauge cluster dimmer switch? You do have Subaru EyeSight on or off. That's like your forward collision, your forward braking system up there, your pedestrian detection. You do have auto start stop in here, but I usually turn that off. And you do have your blind spot warning. These gauges are just typical, you know, typical gauges that you'd find in a normal rational car. This S button will make it make the throttle and transmission a little bit sharper, but if you push the button next to it, this is like the normal drive, and you can see there's a little like power curve display in there. Like the first one is a bit of a steeper curve and the second one is a bit more normal. Kind of interesting. You do have a little center screen that you control with these little toggle switches. And, you know, it seems to just give you your typical information, your pressures, your MPG, looks like it's 22.8 average, your timer, your miles per hour. Yeah, typical stuff. Doesn't look super fancy, but it works, and I don't think people are gonna really complain. You have a heated steering wheel in this touring trim. Pretty nice to have. You also have your radar guided cruise control with your self-steering assist. You do have your volume controls, and this info button actually controls this screen up here. And that's a pretty nice screen. You can get some pretty good displays on here, like your climate control, your all-wheel drive. You can see like your off-road, like pitch and roll type of thing. You can see how much throttle you're applying, and your weather. Yeah, it's a nice screen. It's like right in your line of sight right there. You also get this like infrared thing that measures your attention. It's a very safe car. They want their drivers to be safe, and you can tell you got your eyesight module up here that watches the road in front of you. So lots of really good safety features in here. You do get this infotainment system. It's pretty self-explanatory. Touch response is decent. It's pretty high resolution, honestly. You do get your map in here, and it says powered by TomTom. It looks like a TomTom system, maybe not the best quality, but you know, it works. It gets the job done. A little bit laggy, not the most intuitive to touch this screen. I think like the touch inputs could be a little bit better, but really not terrible. I'm kind of nitpicking here. You get your radio information. So yeah, typical system. It looks nice, at least. You get your climate controls, very easy. Temperature, fan speed, your mode, like where the air comes out is right here. You got your shifter for the CVT. It's a pretty nice high quality shifter. And you do get a backup camera, which has decent resolution, a pretty good field of view. You do have your all-wheel drive settings, so you have your snow and dirt mode, you have your deep snow and mud. You get your electronic parking brake right there. I'll put it down, and you do get your auto vehicle hold. Basically holds the brake lights on for you, but you can lift your foot off the brake. You get 2 level heated seats. Glove box, pretty good, pretty average, and pretty average center console in there. So yeah, very satisfactory interior. I really like it a lot, but we'll get this thing out on the road, take it out on a little drive here. Probably the first thing I noticed about this Forester was just how good the visibility is. Can really see out of this car very well. You got this like giant rear view mirror up here, and a really big glass window to look out of back there. It kind of surprised me. You really don't get this type of visibility out of a lot of cars. So pretty cool to see that. You do get a nice tall windshield, nice tall belt line in terms of the windows overall. So yeah, it's one of the best cars I've driven in terms of visibility. You do get this kind of like blocky front hood in front of you, but luckily it doesn't intrude on anything. The windshield is still tall enough to see everything you need to. The engine, it's a little bit lackluster, I won't lie. It's does require a bit of patience. It's definitely not bad though. It's adequate. It's just got a very smooth, very regular type of power band to it. Definitely a little bit soft off the line, I would say. If I'm trying to get somewhere in a hurry, I notice I do have to rev this engine a pretty good amount. But even when you rev it, it still stays pretty refined and pretty composed. We'll try giving it some gas right here. All right. Yeah, it definitely doesn't knock your socks off, really. It sounds a little grainy too when you really go hard like that. Brakes are really good though. I really like the brakes. Close this shade. That's one thing about this car. Could use maybe a power shade. You have to really reach back there if you want to close it. But these brakes are really good. They're really refined. They're very predictable. There's no weirdness about them, no like unpredictability with them. It's decently peppy when you want it to be. I think Honda does a bit of a better CVT, and maybe Toyota's feels a little bit better. It's a very middle of the road kind of transmission in terms of CVTs. It's not the worst one, but I wouldn't say it's the best. And it's not one of those CVTs that makes you believe you're driving an automatic. I think a driving purist would prefer a traditional automatic for sure, but it's not like it's unbearable. Most people who buy a Forester really aren't gonna notice or complain about that. The pedals are really intuitive feeling, very easy to switch between gas and brake very quickly. Everything feels ergonomically friendly. Accelerator has a good response to it. It doesn't feel vague or mushy, really. It's not like a sports car, but it's also, you know, nice and quick, nice and predictable, I would say. It's about average levels of road noise in here. I'd say it's pretty quiet, not like dead silent though. About what you would expect for like a normal mainstream car brand. You do get premium sound in here. I think it's like a Harman Kardon system. It's good, it has nice clarity to it, but it's not like super out of this world, I would say. This steering, it's got like a pretty premium feel to it. It has kind of more of that grainy type of leather versus some cars that have a more smooth leather feel. But I like it. It feels good. It feels high quality. It's a very predictable, very natural steering feel, and it has a little bit of heft to it. A little bit of substance, a little bit of heft, and it's very smooth. The car steers very smoothly, kind of points very naturally where you want it to go. The handling is about average, I would say. It doesn't hide that it's an SUV per se. You do feel some body lean, and this Forester does feel a little bit heavy when you take it through some corners. It's not like it's a Mazda CX-5 or one of the other sportier crossovers. It's more soft, I would say. It's a very softly sprung type of vehicle. The ride is really smooth, and when you go over bumps, there's a little more suspension travel than you might expect. But I kind of like it, you know. It's very refined. And it doesn't feel unwieldy or lumbering either. Try this other little corner. It's actually not too bad though. I mean, the steering feels really smooth through the corner. Like, you feel like you know exactly where the car is planting itself. It's not bad. We'll try putting it in this S mode and see how that is. It feels like generally the same car, but the CVT feels a little more matched to the engine's power band, I would say. Pretty interesting. Actually, I do quite like this sport mode. Usually these types of modes don't really impress me that much. But this one is nice because it doesn't really shoot the revs up or anything, but it just makes it a little more precise feeling and a little more intuitive. It's actually quite a pleasant sport mode. Glides down the road nicely. Take it on the highway here, see how it does. That is like pretty good handling, I will say. Accelerator feels a little weird when you go to floor it. Has kind of that like weird thing where there's like two levels to it. All right, you know, it gets up there. You do have to rev it a little bit. But yeah, it does pretty well on the highway, not gonna lie. That Kia Soul out of the way. All right, yeah, we're moving pretty good, looks like. But yeah, like, ride's really smooth, easy to drive. It is a little bit louder on the highway in here, but not to a crazy degree or anything. All right, we'll try our cloverleaf off ramp here. Very linear around the corner. There's definitely some body lean. Doesn't quite feel as inspiring as some other cars out there, but it can do it if you want it to. It's just not very encouraging. Yeah, very nice, very high quality, and very drama-free type of SUV. Can kind of see why they're so popular. All right, yeah, just gonna park it right here. All right, yeah, very nice SUV. I really liked it. Very refined in terms of the ride, the acceleration. Acceleration is nice and smooth, but in the normal mode, it's a little bit lackluster for my liking. And I found when I hit this S button to put it in sport mode, it actually made it feel a lot peppier somehow, without really changing the character of the car too much. Pretty good handling, it's pretty composed. It's not like a born corner carver, but it can go around corners with a decent level of precision and smoothness. Overall, very nice car, very drama free. If you want a car that gets you there in reliability and smoothness and comfort and ease of operation, this is a really good option. But we will shut it off and we'll hop out. All right, thanks for watching.